Happy Friday. I've said that a few times, but my name's Emily Spring. I'm a physician assistant at the MaxWell Clinic. I am certified with Institute of Functional Medicine. I love functional medicine in the lens that we see whole health through. I mentioned this last time, always looking at how the systems are connected, always looking at how you're living, and then also living in that center of the matrix, how our mental health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health influences whole body health. So today, that is one of my favorites. I love talking about that piece of things. So today I'm going to be talking about the science of stress and why mindfulness matters, and let's get into it. So for some reason, I can't really see the Q&A when I'm sharing my screen. So I will look at those at the end, but feel free to use that along the way. I just can't really see it until the end. So welcome. We've already talked about this. You can use the Q&A box. If something happens with the internet or we lose connection, sit tight. I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. So the roadmap for today is we're going to talk about stress, this buzzword that you've heard a lot. You've probably heard other providers describe it from a science perspective. I just want to kind of cement that in your brain again and again and again so that you really understand what it is, the benefits to that system. I believe Lindsay talked about reframing stress. So we want to talk about how it can be helpful, and then when it's going to tip us into chronic stress and dis-ease and illness in the body. We want to change the relationship. We want to understand what mindfulness is. And I want to give you 3 mindful practices, so 3 experiences today so that you can start incorporating them into your life. So that's my intention for this talk. So what is stress? Stress is, the definition is stress is your body's way of responding to any kind of demand, right? That's a really vague definition, but that's what it is. It's going to be very subjective. It can be caused by good and bad experiences. But if the brain and the mind are perceiving something as a demand, as a threat, we're going to launch this stress response, which is a biochemical change in the body. You know this, you've experienced this. If somebody scares you, right, you feel that in your body. You feel your heart rate increase, your pupils might dilate. You kind of need a minute, right? And that's through these neuroendocrine changes of epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol. So anything good or bad, the mind is going to interpret that as a stress or a demand. We're going to have a biochemical change in the body through these neurotransmitters such as epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol. And those little neurotransmitters are going to travel from brain to different parts of the body to cause these stress response, which we're going to see that. I mentioned it already a little bit. Increased heart rate, blood pressure is going to increase, pupils are going to dilate, blood's going to be shunted to the organs that need it for survival. So this is your body's way of saying, we got to survive. We've got to increase threat here and increase demand. And so it does that. The body's always responding to appropriately for the messages that it is given. So that is what stress is. It's the body is infinitely wise. It's always trying to seek homeostasis. So if it's getting a message from the mind through the brain saying, hey, we got a situation on our hand, it's going to support you biochemically through neurotransmitters and through responses in the body. So this is just a picture for you picture people to see this. I use my little mouse here. A stressor can be good, can be a surprise party, can be a talk that you're about to give that you're really excited about, could be something that's a little more threatening and scary, could be something kind of subacute, like a daily stressor of fatigue, a daily stressor of pain, a daily stressor of a limiting lack belief of overwhelm, right? Of shame, of guilt, of all this stuff. So anyway, this stressor is going to be filtered through the mind and the brain, through the power of perception, through how we perceive it. It's going to tell our hypothalamus to tell our pituitary, we got a problem on our hand. It can go down this pathway through the hormone of ACTH to tell the adrenal glands to reduce, I think it's cutting off down there, adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol, and some glucocorticoids. We can go through the hypothalamus this way to the autonomic nervous system. So the autonomic nervous system is that part of your nervous system that is automatic. And there's two parts: the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is fight, flight, freeze. This is the part that's going to rev up these hormones that I'm talking about. The parasympathetic nervous system in general, we're really simplifying neurochemistry here, is the rest, digest, repair, a little bit slower. And it's not that one is better than the other. We want balance between the two, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We also have the enteric nervous system, the nervous system that controls the gut, giving feedback to these nervous systems as well. All of this will give afferent feedback away from this part of the body back to the brain, and the cycle continues. So there's lots of talk happening. There's lots of chatter happening from a biochemical system perspective that's going to cause changes in your body. So I've stressed this again, not all stress is bad. You cannot live without cortisol. We need it. It is necessary, right? It is our way of survival. It's important. We can't escape it. We're going to be, those of you wearing devices or, Oura rings, you're going to be in a little bit of fight or flight through the day. That's okay. It can be there. And a short-term stress response can be very protective. It is the very thing that helps you survive. It can give you a burst of energy, this kind of epinephrine cortisol surge when you need it, temporarily turning on that brain, ramping up your memory. Short term, it can be an immune booster. And it is there for this motivation success piece in our life. Let's see. We just want to learn how to balance it. So what happens is these moments in life, and I'm not sure if any of you can identify with these pictures, maybe running out of time, because no longer are the stressors, usually no longer the stressors are bears and tigers anymore, but there are these chronic, kind of daily, inundated with things, inundated with stuff, not enough time, how am I going to get all this done, frustration, can't take it anymore, I'm going to lose my mind. Are you relating with this? Are you relating with this? This is when we get this good versus bad tipping point. When that short-term acute stressor helps us survive, is protective, can ramp up our brain. And when does it become this thing that we've lost resiliency for? Usually that's duration. So time under stress, the severity, the heaviness of it. If you get hit with like a death, a divorce, anything that's really, really severe, that can really launch this longer term stress response. And then there's this personal piece of it that I mentioned that is subjective, this personal tipping point of resiliency and self-awareness. Going back to duration, like those pictures I just showed you, usually that's kind of this chronic low grade input of stressor that there's this, it's not like a surge as if you just got something bad or dangerous just happened, but it's this chronic low grade kind of almost continually informing adrenals and sympathetic nervous system, fight flight nervous system to chronically be ramped up, right? So the problem isn't that we are in sympathetic, the problem becomes that we become imbalanced. And in this day and time, with worry and fear and shame and guilt and all these things kind of driving the interpretation of how we see things in the world, we become sympathetic dominant. We live in sympathetic and we're not really rebalancing. I may have said this to you before, but I ask pretty much all of my patients, how do you relax, unwind, fill up? And some of them do not know. They do not have an answer. They don't know how. They may know how, but they're not doing it. And then we get to this point of, well, you can't run from a tiger for 15 years and expect your system to repair and recover and rest, right? So we have to be building in these points of relaxation, these points of getting out of fight or flight intentionally, consciously, and coming back into a parasympathetic restful state so that we can heal. I've mentioned this before. These are those physiological markers that you see in stress over long-term time. You're going to have increased cortisol. You're going to have this chronic catecholamine surge, right? That's going to increase your blood sugar. The body, always responding to the appropriately for the messages that it's given, is going to be like, okay, she needs to run from this tiger. She's trying to run from this tiger. She needs energy, fuel to run from this tiger. Let's give her glucose. And then it breaks this glycogen down in your liver. It gives you all this glucose to run from this tiger. But you're not running from the tiger. You're sitting at your desk worried about your job, or you're sitting at your desk worried about what's for dinner, or worried about your children, or worried. And so then it's like, she's not running from this tiger. So we got to get this glucose out of the bloodstream because it's not safe good there, and we'll store it as fat, So then we see longer term things like cholesterol and atherosclerosis and higher blood pressure because of this chronic catecholamine surge. That storing as fat, we get this abdominal obesity. We're going to demineralize bone over time, setting us up for risk of osteoporosis if we're in this kind of imbalanced state of stress. Decreased immune function. Long term, we're going to see a decrease in immune function. Neuronal atrophy. So we're going to see changes in the brain. This amygdala brain activity upregulation. You're going to see changes in platelet reactivity, so changes in clotting. We're going to be more inflamed. Our gut's going to be leakier. You know these terms. You know this. This is going back to abdominal obesity, that waist-hip ratio, and how that is going to be predictive of cardiovascular disease. The web starts becoming connected. More anxious. If we've got epinephrine and norepinephrine surging all the time, and we think we have to be these hypervigilant beings always looking for threat, we're more anxious. Our heart's going to beat faster. Immune system gets dysregulated. Autoimmunity. We're not privileging digestion, right? When you're running from the tiger, you're not making digestive enzymes. You're shunting blood, attention, energy away from the digestive system, the immune system, the hormone system. These are things you don't need when you're running from the tiger, when stress is really evident. So, and then we get impaired absorption, and we know how malnutrition affects everything. So this is just a short list, but hopefully it's starting to click. Wow, my stress is influencing all of these things. My interpretation of the world and each encounter is affecting all of these things. What I think consciously or under the radar is affecting all of these systems. So we're just going to summarize the stress piece. Not all stress is bad. Your stress system is needed, and it can be protective in the short term. It's the long-term chronic stress that causes dysfunction over time. So it's not the sympathetic nervous system is bad. It's like, we got to regulate. We got to give ourselves a break. You have permission to give yourself a break and get out of fight or flight, to rest, recover, heal. That is your obligation on your healing journey, to start to make time for that and rewire any limiting beliefs in your way about that. Talk to a lot of people, talk to a lot of women, talk to a lot of moms. And usually it's, I don't have time, or that's lazy, or how can I do that with everything I have going on? And if you want to be healthy and vital, my question to you is, how can you not? So starting to reframe your own self-care journey, and that it is imperative that you get out of fight flight. It is imperative that you take some time to lean on some tools to regulate your nervous system for your overall health journey. So what can we do about it? You probably know where I'm going with this, but we can change our relationship with stress. Awareness is always the first step in changing anything. A lot of people are like, well, Emily, I don't know where to start. Emily, I don't know how. Well, just start with the intention and start with the awareness of all the things that gets in your way. You may want to write some of these questions down, but how stressful does your life feel right now? And just internally think about this, or answer them later. What feels really stressful in life? How do you really feel? Sometimes we're just flying through life. We're so dissociated with how we feel, but how do you really feel? And get really honest with yourselves. Are you prioritizing time for relaxation. And I don't mean Netflix and I don't mean booze, because those are just numbers, or shopping, or, you know, I mean, really, that, are you creating space to go, you know, just taking inventory. How can you change your perception to see life differently? These are the things that I want you to start thinking about. And I get that life is not always rainbows and butterflies. I get that. It's not about always feeling happy. All right. It's about having the willingness and the courage to accept where you are in life, accept what's happening, accept it as this, whatever you believe spiritually, but accept it as this divine path that God, source, universe, whatever you believe in, is intending for you. How do you accept it? How do you come back to love? How do you have the courage to feel what you are experiencing versus resisting it? It's a different talk. But I get that it's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's not about being perfect. It's about changing our relationship with what comes our way. We do this through leaning on some of the tools I'm about to talk about. This is neuroplasticity at its finest. This is creating new neuronal pathways so that you can show up to life differently, so that you can stop reacting out of habit and respond in a way that's more in alignment with who you want to be and who you really are. So mindfulness. What is mindfulness? You've heard this word a ton, and I'm going to define it in a million different ways so that maybe one of them will resonate with you. But mindfulness is really bringing our focus and attention to what is actually happening now. So these are different ways to describe it. I'm going to go through them all. It is awareness of our outer life. It's awareness of what's happening. It's awareness of my voice right now. It's awareness of sounds in the room. I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's an informal practice of present moment awareness that can be applied to any waking situation. So it's a practice informally, just a continual practice of being present in your awareness to what is happening. It's a constant focusing and refocusing moment to moment on the object of the awareness, meaning what is happening in front of us, of that person talking, of brushing your teeth, of really showering. You know, it's being mindful, it's experiencing, it's being aware of what you're doing when you're doing it. I'm not sure if that's in here, but I'll say that again and again. Yep. Acutely aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. It sounds so simple. It really is simple. Our mind takes us away to these catastrophic stories and fears and worries and doubts and concerns, and we become unpresent. We become less mindful. So it's a being aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. Can't get any more simple or Southern or country than that, right? Just focus on what you're doing when you're doing it. I love that one. Living in the present moment, not the past or the future, but experiencing this moment for what it is. Experiencing this moment, and then the next moment, and then the next moment, and then the next moment. Well, instead of allowing fears from past or anxieties from future to come into this moment, right now in this moment, right now, are you safe? Are you okay? Are you good right now in this moment, in this moment? If you are, just breathe a little bit more, relax a little bit more. It's having a beginner's mind, right? Not letting all the limiting beliefs, the expectations, I'm never going to be well. Life is always hard. I'm never going to have money. Like, we just let that infiltrate to kind of cloud the present. So this is some of Joe Dispenza's work, but we keep reliving our past instead of creating the future and headed in the direction that we want to go. Beginner's mind is experiencing each new thing with curiosity. It's a method of discovering peace. When you're in the present moment, you're embodying right now, right now. The mind can be still, the body can be still. Again, I don't know your spiritual backgrounds, but I mean, another way to define it is this is where you meet God, right here in this moment, right here, right here. So it's also touching the moment. I love that one. Lots of ways to define it. So sometimes I get it with one definition instead of the other. Hopefully some of those landed for you, being aware, being engaged, living life present, right here, right now. So mindfulness is not like kind of being unaware. Like you've done this before. Or it's not thinking too hard, but you've done this. You've like, all of a sudden you're like, how did I get here? Like, cause you've been in your head the whole time. You're like, or you went to the grocery store when you meant to go to work. Or you've gone to work when you meant to go to the grocery store, you know? You've been like, I don't remember the past 3 minutes of this drive. Your body's been there, but your mind's been elsewhere. You just scarfed down a meal and you don't even remember what you ate. You surely didn't taste it, right? You're showering, I call this showering with your coworkers, right? You're showering, but you're thinking about work and you're bringing everybody in the shower with you instead of like smelling the soap and feeling it like the commercials, right? I can't remember what that commercial is called, but you're not like experiencing the senses in the moment. You're thinking about, what do I need to say to that person? And did I call that girlfriend back? And need to get a present for Sally's party on Friday. You know, you're not even in the present of that. That shower could feel luxurious. That shower could be your mindfulness meditation for that day. Like smelling this, letting your senses brings you into the present moment. Forgetting things like, did I feed a dog? Did I do that? Like, have I taken my supplements? Did I take my supplements? Did I not take my supplements? Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. I think, you've done these things. That's not being mindful. That's being unaware. That's being way into this story versus like what's happening right here. Not listening to our bodies, right? Like when we need to eat, when we don't need to eat, when we need to rest, when we need to sleep, when we need to wake up, when we need water. It makes me want water. It's also not thinking or overanalyzing or trying real hard to find the solution. That's not what mindfulness is. Let me see what I've done here. Okay. So the science of mindfulness. So when we really kind of live in this present moment, we still have to navigate things. That's back to my rainbows and butterflies. It's not rainbow. We still have to navigate things and feel things, but we do it mindfully. We do it with present moment awareness. We do it with a place where we're more in alignment with our spirituality and our support that comes from what you believe in and the larger God, source, universe, divine that you feel connected to. We're not letting limiting beliefs and future projections filter in to cloud it all up. We're changing our perception. So when we do that, we have less stress. We see things differently. We're less anxious, less overwhelmed. Our brain changes. We have neurocortical changes in the brain. There's more energy present to be vital. There's more energy available to heal. You can sleep better. Immunity improves. Less anger, depression, and tension because you're less reactive. Improved perception and regulation of emotion. And there's peace, freedom, joy, and truly living, truly enjoying this experience. This is funny. It just came to me. It's like, if I was like, doing a pharmaceutical ad, right? Mindfulness may cause reduced sense of stress, less anxiety, everybody would like pay tons of money for this. These tools are free. And this, I get the most resistance on actually engaging in these tools. And I know, pretty sure, that all of you want these things: enjoyment, joy, life, better sleep. And so these are the benefits of mindfulness. This is what science is telling us about living with present awareness. So what's it going to take for you to lean on some of the tools that build your resiliency for these things? It's not going to come overnight. It's a journey. Life is a journey. Health is a journey. This whole thing that we're doing here is a journey. There are a gazillion tools, for mindfulness. I chose 3 that I'm going to show you in this little presentation because it's important to me that you experience it. You can know this stuff all day, right? You have to feel this. You have to experience this. You have to practice this. You don't have to. You get to choose to get all these may cause benefits, right? So it's a conscious choice. It's an empowered choice. I've said this before too. On this journey, as a provider, Sure, I know a lot of things, got a lot of tricks up my sleeve. But the biggest thing that I can do for you is to empower you to be your own healer, to empower you to take control of thoughts, emotions, all of it, lifestyle, all of it. So we're gonna put some tools in your toolbox, and you will find the ones that resonate for you. They may or may not be these three, but start looking for things that help you be more mindful, of it, help you cultivate this inner awareness I'm talking about. So mindful moments is the tip number one. This is just kind of be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of what you're doing, right? Pay attention to what you're doing when you're doing it. So this is bringing presence into your day-to-day activities. Driving would be a good place to start. Showering, and when you're trying to be mindful, you're trying to get into your senses. This is why counting sheep works for sleep. It's just getting you out of your analytical mind, and you're focusing on the sensation or the presence or the visualization of the sheep. So using the sensations when you're showering to be really present, to pay attention. What does the water feel like with that beginner's mind, with that curiosity? What smells am I noticing? How do I feel right now? How does it feel when I give my little head a massage? What if I can be present to this shower and let it rejuvenate me versus thinking about all my to-dos? Nothing's getting done while you're in that shower. So what's the harm in being present? And focus on maybe the dry brush before you shower. Really get into the sensation. Brushing your teeth, right? Hopefully we're all brushing teeth 1 to 2 times a day. A lot of people are like, Emily, I don't have time. I don't have time to set up a 2-hour practice. Fine. I don't care. Start being present with what you're doing by brushing your teeth. Feel the bristles on each tooth. Be with each tooth. What do you notice? Just be with it. Being with your family, right? When husband, partner, kid is talking, really listening, really being present with their words, being present when you're playing with your children. This is a practice I'm still doing, When you're eating, chew your food, taste your food. What would that be like? Notice the burst or the flavor, the sensation of the taste. Mindful walking. If you're in nature, or just if you're just walking to your car before work and maybe you're late and you're frazzled, just be aware and maybe make an intention to just walk a little more slowly to your car. Notice the heel strike and then the toe strike, and just being aware. So I'm not asking, I'm not saying you need another hour here. Hopefully these are some of these things you're doing all the time. What if you committed to being more mindful? So I invite you to close your eyes. We're just going to do these are short little snippets of experiences that I'm about to walk you through. So go ahead and just close your eyes. And take 3 deep breaths. Focusing on the sensation of air coming in the nostrils and out the mouth. Maybe focusing, being mindful, being present, being aware to the belly rising and the belly falling. Maybe letting yourself feel supported by the chair or the ground. And keep your eyes closed. But when you open your eyes, I want you to really be mindful. This is called mindful seeing. Keeping your eyes closed for now. But when you open your eyes, we're going to notice the things around you. I want you to notice colors and textures and shapes, maybe sounds. Don't label them. If you see clutter, you don't need to label it or judge it. Just see it, observe it with a beginner's mind. It's a method of discovering, a method of just observing. So go ahead and open your eyes now and mindfully see. Mindfully see. Watching when thought wants to label and judge, just mindfully observe. I'm going to do this for about 40 more seconds. What are you seeing? What are you noticing? Maybe for the first time. Surrendering judgment, surrendering more to-dos. And take an inhale and an exhale and just kind of come back to this space. So that was a minute. That was a minute of mindfully seeing. So if you feel comfortable, take a few minutes to type in the Q&A what you noticed. What did you observe? What did you notice? And I can't really read them right now, but I will when I stop sharing. But go ahead and just type it in the Q&A or jot it down. Maybe something that became an aha for you. And we're going to move to the next tool. The next tool is breath. Breath, another free thing, right? That you do all the time. So you'll start to see how some of these mindfulness tools will overlap and interplay. Breath is so powerful, right? It's always available to you. And when you live in the resting presence of your breath, your life will become a meditation. So the breath is always there to soothe you, to calm you, to comfort you, to nourish you. You just have to retrain the mind to find it, to be aware to it through the power of sensation. So this is a type of mindfulness practice because you are aware of breath. This is the retraining of the mind to find the breath, to anchor you, to ground you, to soothe you, to calm you. There's many ways to breathe, tons of ways to breathe. This is going to connect you with your body. So when we're way up here spinning in our head, we can connect to body through the breath. It brings us, it's a mindfulness practice because it's bringing you present to what's happening right now in the body. Diaphragmatic breathing is a process, a type of breath practice that activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's that nervous system we want to activate. It's like lifting weights for the parasympathetic. HeartMath has a lot of heart rate variability data on diaphragmatic breathing. You've probably heard another provider talk about that. So this is going to help us balance that nervous system that we're talking about. We're trying to get into the rest and digest modes. In yogic traditions, they talk about prana, which is the vital life force, right? Without breath, we don't exist, right? So breath is this life force. And when you breathe, you can take in life. Through the breath, you can transform things in the body. So we're going to take a little minute to become mindful with our breathing. So close your eyes again. And these are short little practices, so you're not going to be gone for the next 15 minutes, maybe around 2 to 3 minutes. Close your eyes and settle into the chair. And start to wrap your mind around the sensation of the breath. Letting the mind follow the breath from full inhale to exhale. And try to follow the breath for the full cycle of inhale and exhale for 3 times. And if your mind wanders, just bring it back to the sensation of the breath. Being right here, right now in this moment with the breath. This is the only moment that exists. This one, and then this one. Taking it step by step, breath by breath. And just observe, just notice, where are you noticing the breath? Are you noticing the air coming in and out of the nostril or mouth? Are you noticing the belly rise and fall? Where are you anchoring your awareness and your attention? And on your next few breaths, try to really expand the diaphragm, like bring the diaphragm down. And up. That you can practice this through bringing the belly out on the inhale and in on the exhale. And notice where mind is going. Notice if you're lost in thought. If you're lost in thought, just carefully with grace and kindness, just lovingly bring it back. And choose again to be in this moment, to follow the breath. Take one more inhale and exhale here, being mindful and presently aware with this breath. And at the completion of that breath, before you open your eyes, just notice how you feel. Observe how you feel after just breathing for a few rounds. And then you can open your eyes when you're ready. So that was about 3 minutes. That was about 3 minutes of maybe getting out of head into body through the breath. And maybe please type in the chat. What did you notice? What did you experience? I'm hoping that you're feeling more peace in your body, that you're feeling more calm. Sometimes people want to go to sleep. So that's an indicator that we're in fight, flight. The minute we hit parasympathetic, we're like, boom. So we need some more of these practices so we don't keep hitting the wall. So diaphragmatic breathing, we talk about the belly rising and falling. I think it's more about the diaphragm pulling down and up, which, again, different talk. We'll do that. But just focusing on your breath is a great place to start. And just type in the chat what you noticed, how you feel. And then we'll move on to our third and final tool. It's not about getting this stuff right? It's just about you experiencing it. And if you're like, I don't know how to do it, just try, just do it. Just close your eyes and see what happens. You're gonna find your way through experiencing it. This has to be like a felt sensation, and you're gonna be your own guide as you just practice and start and try. And your mind's gonna wander. That's what minds do. Just bring it back with love and grace and compassion, without judgment of, there I go again. I'm never good at this. I'm never gonna get it. Just bring it back like a roaming toddler, right? I see some responses, so we'll look at those in a little bit. Awesome. Thanks for participating. And then we'll go to meditation. So meditation is also this big word, a gazillion ways to meditate. But meditation is just this awareness of our inner life. So mindfulness is kind of this awareness and present moment with what's happening externally, like the birds chirping, the sun shining, and the breeze, and the water on the hands, and the soap and the toothpaste. So the external. Meditation is awareness of the internal, this internal terrain that we're usually so disconnected from. So it's this formal practice. So mindfulness is kind of informal, like trying to walk more mindfully, trying to chew more mindfully in our informal daily habits. Meditation is more of a formal practice, cultivating peace within. Like I said, many different kinds. There's guided, there's focusing on a mantra, there's a breath meditation, there's a loving kindness meditation, there's body scans or body melt, which I love before bed. If you're having trouble sleeping, you just kind of like melt each part of the body. Maybe we'll do that one today. There's tons more. None of them are right, none of them are wrong. Just playing with what gets you kind of out of here and the stories of fear, limitation, lack, not enough, worry, shame, guilt, judgment, like whatever tool is going to get you out of there and into here, into this inner space, again, which is where it's my belief where that is where you find God, you meet God, you be with God in these moments. And so we're mindful of our thoughts from the viewpoint of the observer, not clinging to the thoughts themselves. So a thought may come in like, oh, I gotta go to the grocery store, and you just kind of observe it. You see, well, It's interesting. And you can let it go. Like if you're sitting on a bench on a highway and a car's passing, you see it and you notice it and you observe it, but you let it pass. You don't cling to it. Like keep thinking about it. Like, did Sally call me back? Did she call me back? Can't remember if she called me back. Is she mad at me? What do I think's going on? Did she go on vacation? That's just kind of staying in the story. And then when you catch yourself lost in that chatter, you just come back. You let it go. You'd be willing to let it go and observe it just to see that it's just a thought. It's just this thing passing. It's not you. It's not your identity. I'll say this again and again until one day you get it. You are not your thoughts. You are not this body. You are the energy and essence that is formless, just experiencing life through this body. But anyway, different talk, right? This is a way of learning about yourselves. You get to see the habits. You get to see like where your thoughts are usually attached or fixated to. You get to see, wow, I'm really negative. I'm really mean to myself. Like, and it's just like Dr. Hossie always uses this word, and I think this is a great tool. Instead of being like that, if you have awareness of those negative thought patterns, just be like, fascinating. That's fascinating. If you can see it, then you can do something about it. So try not to, when you notice a habit of like, God, I'm really like not very confident. It's okay. It doesn't need to be this further judgment that you blame yourself for. It's just like fascinating. Wow, I can see that now. Let me transform that. So we can witness our behaviors, our patterns through this cultivation of inner terrain. There's that, before you close your eyes, there's that quote, like, I've got such a busy day today, I'm going to meditate for 2 hours instead of 1. You know, there's this interesting thing that happens with meditation. When you cultivate this inner space, this inner peace, this inner terrain, you come in alignment with God, you spend time with God, your external shifts. Life does become easier. You are cultivating this resiliency in a way which you know how to navigate life with. So just close your eyes, and I'm going to show you just a meditation. I'll probably do the body scan one, just so you guys can experience that. So just close your eyes, coming into stillness, taking a few breaths just to anchor you and settle you, being mindful, being aware of those breaths from inhale to exhale. And just bring your attention, your awareness to the top of your head. And just allow the hairs on your head to relax. Allow this, allow your scalp just to let go of anything it's holding. Allow the brain and the thoughts just to release for this moment. And if you're like, what is she talking about? Just make it up. Just imagine that you're releasing tension from your hair and your scalp and your brain. Let your forehead just settle, releasing any crinkles or tension or thoughts. Letting your eyes just fall back into your head, deep, deep, deep into the sockets. Allow your tongue just to fall to the floor of the mouth, no longer forcing or holding anything. Allow your jaw to just settle, getting heavier and heavier, allowing the whole head just to release. Bringing your attention, your sensation, your awareness to your shoulders. Allowing any stress and tension in the shoulders just to drip off you like honey. Allow the throat to just relax, letting go of anything it's holding on to. Allow the front of the heart to also just release any emotions that it's holding. In this present moment, just breathing in love into the heart. letting yourself soften where you can. Letting the breath nourish you, realizing in this moment there's no threat and you can put your guard down. Breathing love and space into the back of the heart. Letting your shoulders soften. Letting this feeling of peace and relaxation and heaviness and surrender move down your arms to your elbows and forearms, the wrists and the fingers, just letting each part of your body get heavier and heavier with rest and relaxation. Letting go of tension. Breathing space into your belly. Allowing your bowels to relax, allowing everything just to soften. Letting go of it all. Breathing space into your pelvis. Observing if your tailbone's tucked, and if it is, just let it relax. Getting heavier and heavier in your chair or the floor. Breathing space into your hips. Allowing the legs just to soften. If you're holding any tension in your quads, just allow these muscles to relax. Letting the hamstrings go. Allowing the knees just to soften. Any pain, tension in the knees just to relax. Letting the calf muscles relax. Releasing any tension in the ankles and the toes. And exhaling out anything else that just no longer needs to be there. Scanning the body, just letting yourself soften and relax into places where there's tension, just letting it go. Becoming heavier and heavier and lighter in what you're carrying, and heavier into like being grounded. Noticing and observing more space in the body, more peace in the body, more presence in the body. Maybe more love in the body. Just putting your gloves down for a second. You don't have to defend anything or fight for anything. Just loving and accepting and welcoming and embracing your body as it is in this moment. Opening up to more peace, relaxation, freedom, space. And take in this feeling. Just let yourself become mindful, present, aware to how you're feeling in this moment. Taking that in. And you can take one more breath and open your eyes. I want to be mindful of time. So that was about a 6-minute meditation. So hopefully y'all are feeling a little more relaxed and settled. So you made it. You tried hopefully 3 tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. I don't want meditation and mindfulness practices to be this thing that's separate. This thing like, oh, I'll do that when I get caught up. I'll do that when I have more time. I'll do that when summer's over. How can you do it now to help start balancing your nervous system and your whole body health today? So there is no test, but you're always welcome to practice. I encourage you to practice these things. Maybe it be a mindful moment, like choose something you're doing, like brushing your teeth. Maybe add 3 to 5 minutes of just this diaphragmatic breathing, expanding the diaphragm or the belly in and out, wrapping the attention of the mind around the breath, or like a meditation, a 3-minute meditation. You can Google them. They're on YouTube, Insight Timer, things like that. Find the ones that resonate with you, that help you kind of just go, ah, that's what we're after. So thank you very much. It's been an honor to share this stuff with you today and these tools with you so that you can have more empowerment and regulation in your life. I'm going to stop share. So if you want to type anything into the chat, I'm just, oh, cool. Some of you notice colors and emotional connections to images. So if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat now. If you have any comments, please leave them now. I can see the chat now. Somebody felt like when they felt like the muscles in the tissue in the neck was tight and cracked when moved. So that's good awareness. And don't judge that. Just be like, oh, that's there. Okay. More peace. When you were doing one of the exercises in the deep breathing challenge, it was a challenge to open up the back part of the diaphragm, full breath. That's great awareness, right? Great awareness. So just, you can try to send more breath there. Some of you felt calm and peace and sleepy. You felt your feet on your floor. You felt lighter. The breath released body tensions that I wasn't aware of, and muscles relaxed. Yeah, sometimes I'll be driving somewhere and I'm not even aware that my shoulders are in my ears and I'm so tight, right? So I just become aware. I become mindful that it's happening. I can just go, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. Is there a relaxation tape that you recommend? I don't have one right now. I'm hoping to be making these, but I don't have them recorded yet. Insight Timer has some, and you have to find the voice that resonates with you, the type that resonates with you. But Insight Timer is a free tool that has them. The Calm app probably has some of them. YouTube may have some of them. There are certain, I really love Panache Desai. He has a free call to calm meditation every morning. So you have to try what works for you, what feels right for you, what gets you to that place of peace and relaxation. And then you can kind of start doing it for yourself. But awesome. Yes, great. Shannon said that she felt like she got peace or calm, like she was in nature. That is the very thing. So sometimes I say, instead of, she said she got that sense of being at the beach or in nature by just doing this for a few minutes. So sometimes I don't even call it meditation. I call it vacationing. Like, take a vacation. Just close your eyes and pretend you're at the beach, right? Our imagination can take us anywhere. We do it all the time with fear, worry, concern, catastrophic thinking. So do it with something like vacationing. I'm so glad you said that. So close your eyes and imagine yourself being at the beach. Like, feel the waves, hear the waves, feel the sun, hear the seagulls. That's a great way to meditate and kind of take yourself to these places. You can do that in your mind and your imagination, your visualization, and have that same feeling. Yeah. So I tell my patients, like, go to the beach every day, right? In your head. Somebody said Panache. It's Panache. Desai, Desai. And he does a free call to calm meditation. You go to his website and you can sign up for that for free. And you just have to see if it resonates with you or not. It will or it won't. And there's no wrong or right. Just you have to trust your guidance and find what works for you. And if you're feeling peace and kind of the feelings you experience today, then you're on the right track and it's working. And your parasympathetic nervous system is loving you for it. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for the questions and the participation. And I think that's it. It's great to be with you all. I think I answered everything. And I'm going to sign off. So Emily Spring, love being with you. Let me know how we can support you. Okay. Have a great weekend and Friday and Father's Day to you all. Bye.